Most people believe money is made by working harder, being nicer, or waiting for luck to smile at them. That belief keeps them exactly where they are. Wealth is rarely created by effort alone. It is created by position. Power moves money. Perception attracts opportunity. Control multiplies resources. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He was not writing about money directly, but about power, and money is simply power made liquid. If you understand how rich people position themselves, you stop chasing money and start pulling it toward you without force. The first law is this: never appear desperate for money. Machiavelli warned that need makes a man weak and visible. When you signal hunger, others raise prices, tighten terms, delay rewards, and test your limits. Rich people do the opposite. They move slowly. They negotiate calmly. They walk away even when they want the deal. This creates the illusion of abundance, and illusion is often more powerful than reality. When people believe you have options, they compete to give you better ones. Desperation repels money. Detachment attracts it. The second law is to control perception before controlling reality. Machiavelli taught that men judge more with their eyes than with their hands. Most people never see your bank account, but they constantly read your confidence, your tone, your certainty. Wealthy individuals invest early in how they are perceived. They speak as if outcomes are inevitable. They present decisions as already made. They do not oversell or explain themselves. This positions them as authorities even before they truly are. Money flows towards certainty because certainty reduces fear. The third law is to place yourself where value passes through, not where labor is consumed. Poor positioning looks like working inside systems owned by others. Rich positioning looks like standing at the gate. Machiavelli advised rulers to control key cities and routes, not empty land. In money terms, this means platforms, distribution, ownership, leverage, and access. Rich people ask different questions. Not how much can I earn per hour, but where does attention flow? Where does money already move? And how can I take a small percentage of that movement? Gatekeepers get paid whether they work or not. The fourth law is to master timing rather than speed. The masses rush. The wealthy wait. Machiavelli believed fortune favors those who strike at the right moment, not those who strike constantly. Rich people watch cycles, trends, fear, and exhaustion. They buy when others are ashamed to talk about an asset. They sell when everyone is bragging. This patience looks like laziness to outsiders, but it is strategic restraint. Acting too early wastes energy. Acting too late wastes opportunity. Timing converts average moves into massive gains. The fifth law is to let others take the risk while you take the upside. Machiavelli admired leaders who used proxies, allies, and structures to protect themselves from blame and loss. Wealthy individuals do the same with money. They use systems, contracts, employees, partners, and institutions so their personal downside is limited. They do not gamble their entire future on one emotional decision. They structure deals so mistakes are survivable and wins are scalable. Safety allows boldness. Protection enables aggression. The sixth law is to separate emotion from money decisions. Machiavelli warned that emotions cloud judgment and invite manipulation. Rich people train themselves to feel nothing when numbers change. They do not fall in love with assets. They do not cling to losing positions out of pride. They do not celebrate wins too loudly. Emotional neutrality gives them clarity. When others panic, they observe. When others celebrate, they calculate exits. Calm minds profit from emotional crowds. The seventh law is to cultivate useful alliances, not friendships. Machiavelli was brutally honest about loyalty. He knew alliances are strongest when interests align, not when feelings are involved. Wealthy individuals network with purpose. They understand who controls resources, who influences decisions, and who opens doors. They give value before asking, but they never forget the exchange. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. Money flows through relationships, but only when those relationships are strategically positioned. The 8th law is to control information. Machiavelli believed knowledge was a weapon and secrecy was protection. Rich people are selective about what they reveal. They do not announce plans before execution. They do not reveal their full strategy to friends, family, or competitors. Silence preserves flexibility. The less people know, the harder it is to block, copy, or sabotage you. Mystery increases power. Power attracts opportunity. The 9th law is to avoid appearing too moral about money. Machiavelli understood that moral posturing often hides weakness. Rich people do not apologize for wanting more. They do not shame themselves for profit. They understand money is neutral, a tool that amplifies character but does not define it. When you remove guilt from ambition, you remove internal resistance. Wealth grows fastest when desire is clear and unconflicted. The 10th law is to make yourself necessary, not replaceable. Machiavelli advised rulers to ensure others depended on them for stability. In modern terms, rich people build systems, skills, or positions that cannot be easily removed. They own the brand, the audience, the process, or the decision. Employees can be replaced. Owners cannot. When you are necessary, money negotiates with you on your terms. The 11th law is to think in decades, not days. Short-term thinking creates small wins and long-term losses. Machiavelli wrote for rulers who wanted to stay in power, not win one battle. Wealthy people sacrifice immediate comfort for future dominance. They reinvest when others spend. They learn when others entertain themselves. They build quietly while others chase validation. Time is their greatest ally because compounding rewards patience more than brilliance. The 12th law is to use scarcity strategically. Machiavelli understood that rarity creates value. Rich people do not overextend themselves. They are harder to access. They say no more than yes. This increases demand for their time, attention, and resources. Scarcity signals worth. When you are always available, you are always negotiable. When you are selective, you become valuable. The 13th law is to accept that envy is proof of correct positioning. Machiavelli knew success creates enemies. Rich people do not seek universal approval. They expect resistance, gossip, and resentment. These are signs they have moved ahead of the herd. Trying to be liked keeps you average. Accepting misunderstanding frees you to grow. Money favors those who can tolerate being judged. The 14th law is to never confuse motion with progress. Machiavelli despised wasted action. Rich people measure outcomes, not effort. They cut activities that do not produce leverage. They automate, delegate, or eliminate. They focus on a few high-impact moves rather than many busy ones. Less effort, better position. That is the formula. The 15th law is to remember that money follows power, not virtue. This does not mean abandoning ethics. It means understanding reality. Machiavelli wrote for the world as it is, not as it should be. Rich people see the system clearly. They adapt to incentives. They align themselves with how power actually works. Idealism without strategy keeps you poor. Strategy with principles makes you wealthy and stable. In the end, wealth is not about luck, intelligence, or morality. It is about position, where you stand, how you are perceived, what you control, who depends on you. Machiavelli's laws are uncomfortable because they remove comforting illusions. But once you see money as power and positioning rather than effort and hope, the game changes. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop explaining. You place yourself correctly, and money does what it has always done. It flows toward power. And once you understand that money flows toward power, the next realization becomes unavoidable. Power is maintained, not won once. Rich people do not reach a position and relax. They defend it quietly, constantly, and without emotional attachment. Machiavelli warned that holding power is harder than gaining it, and this applies perfectly to wealth. The moment you become careless, sentimental, or complacent, your position weakens. Others begin to circle. Money senses weakness faster than people do. The 16th law is to never outgrow your usefulness. Many people rise once and then decay because they stop adapting. Rich people continuously reinvent their value. When a skill becomes common, they move to the next. When a market becomes crowded, they exit early. A Machiavelli admired leaders who evolved with changing times. Wealth demands the same flexibility. What made you money yesterday will not protect you tomorrow. Stagnation is invisible poverty. The 17th law is to keep your true ambitions hidden. Machiavelli believed open desire invites sabotage. Rich people often appear modest, even aimless, while executing long-term strategies beneath the surface. They allow others to underestimate them because being underestimated is a tactical advantage. When people do not see your full ambition, they do not prepare to stop you. Surprise is leverage. Silence is camouflage. The 18th law is to never rely on a single source of power. Machiavelli warned rulers against trusting one army, one ally, or one institution. Wealthy individuals diversify control, multiple income streams, multiple networks, not for greed, but for survival. Dependency creates vulnerability. Independence creates negotiating power. When one door closes, another is already unlocked. The 19th law is to master distance. Rich people are close enough to influence, but far enough to avoid damage. They do not overshare. They do not entangle themselves in unnecessary drama. They observe more than they speak. Machiavelli understood that proximity breeds contempt, while distance breeds respect. Being slightly unreachable increases authority. Distance protects reputation. Reputation protects money. The 20th law is to use kindness strategically, not emotionally. A Machiavelli famously said it is safer to be feared than loved, but ideal is to be both when possible. Rich people help others, but not in ways that weaken their position. They give opportunities, not rescues. They offer guidance, not dependency. Their generosity builds loyalty without obligation. Blind kindness invites exploitation. Calculated generosity builds influence. The 21st law is to control your narrative before others do. Machiavelli knew that stories shape power. Wealthy individuals understand that perception becomes reality over time. They manage how their success is explained, how their failures are framed, and how their decisions are interpreted. They let others argue about morality while they secure outcomes. Whoever controls the story controls the judgment. Judgment controls access. Access controls money. The 22nd law is to treat money as a soldier, not a trophy. Poor minds spend to feel rich. Rich minds deploy money to gain territory. Machiavelli valued disciplined armies over flashy ones. Wealth is the same. Money that sits idle loses power. Money that is shown off invites attack. Money that is deployed strategically expands control. Rich people respect money enough to give it a job. The 23rd law is to anticipate betrayal without becoming paranoid. Machiavelli was realistic about human nature. Wealthy individuals do not assume loyalty is permanent. They build safeguards, contracts, and exit plans before trust is broken. This does not make them cynical. It makes them prepared. Expecting betrayal prevents emotional shock. Emotional shock causes bad decisions. Preparation preserves position. The 24th law is to never argue with the system emotionally. Complaining does not change incentives. Machiavelli taught adaptation, not protest. Rich people study rules, loopholes, and structures instead of resenting them. They work with reality, not against it. Energy spent on anger produces nothing. Energy spent on positioning produces wealth. Acceptance is not weakness, it is efficiency. The 25th law is to know when to disappear. Sometimes the most powerful move is retreat. Rich people know when to step back, go silent, pause operations, or leave environments that drain influence. Machiavelli praised leaders who survived by withdrawing at the right time. Absence resets value. Disappearance creates curiosity. Returning at the right moment multiplies impact. The 26th law is to understand that money respects those who respect themselves. Rich people do not tolerate disrespect, bad deals, or one-sided arrangements. They walk away early. They enforce boundaries calmly. Machiavelli understood that authority begins with self-command. When you tolerate weakness in your position, the world exploits it. Self-respect is economic armor. The 27th law is to accept loneliness as the cost of elevation. The higher you position yourself, the fewer people can stand beside you. Rich people do not try to bring everyone with them. They understand that most relationships are seasonal. Machiavelli knew power isolates. Wealth does too. Fighting this reality creates suffering. Accepting it creates focus. The 28th law is to outlast others rather than outshine them. Many people burn bright and collapse. Rich people move quietly and endure. Machiavelli valued endurance over spectacle, consistency over charisma. Those who remain standing inherit what others drop. Time rewards those who do not self-destruct. The 29th law is to never confuse wealth with worth. Rich people understand money is a tool, not an identity. This detachment keeps them rational. When money is your identity, loss destroys you. When money is your instrument, loss becomes a lesson. Machiavelli respected leaders who were not enslaved by what they controlled. Freedom preserves clarity. Clarity preserves power. The 30th law is to remember that positioning is never finished. There is no final level, no permanent safety, only constant adjustment. Machiavelli's greatest lesson was not cruelty or manipulation, but awareness, seeing the game clearly without illusions. Wealth belongs to those who stay awake, and so the truth remains simple but uncomfortable. Rich people do not win because they are smarter, kinder, or luckier. They win because they stand where money has no choice but to come to them. They remove desperation. They control perception. They own leverage. They respect time. They manage risk. They stay calm. They adapt. They endure. If you want money to move toward you, stop chasing it emotionally. Stop explaining your value. Study position. Build power quietly. Let others rush, beg, and burn out. You stand still in the right place long enough, and money will do what it always does. It will find the strongest position and settle there.